Alright guys, let's hop into No Rest for the Wicked. A lot of people want to know my thoughts on this game as a Diablo content creator, as an action RPG enjoyer. I want to go and give you guys my first initial impressions of this game, like very early on. So first off, you can make your character, and you can customize the face, the hair, eyes, nose, mouth, jaw, but there's like a lot of different things that you can change with your character, but I'm not going to hop too much into that. Just know that you can create your own character, and then you get to hop right in. You get to make a brand new realm, and then we can go ahead and start with the prologue. And I kind of want to just hop right into like the very beginning stages of this game and talk a little bit about what people kind of expected with this game, as I expected this game to be more in the action RPG genre. The graphics of this game, the voice acting are actually superb. There is a story here, and I think they did a pretty good job at it. Like, I just want to show you guys a cinematic just for like a couple seconds here, just so you guys can see the graphics. This is one thing where this game definitely sets the bar a little bit higher. It looks great, like genuinely. It has its own style to the game that's very distinct, and the characters aren't always going to be like absolutely proportional, as in there's like exaggerated features, but the graphics for this game are actually great. Let me just go ahead and actually can we skip this? Oh, can we hold space? Okay, here we go. So we can skip the cutscene. Just want to show you guys kind of like the graphics. The game looks great, right? So you can use WASD to move. You can also set it up for the mouse, but I'm using a controller. I think this game is much better on controller. So how's the inventory of this game? Well, obviously in the very beginning, because I just made a new character, because I want to show you guys the earlier stages and kind of explain maybe why there's kind of a disconnect with what players expected and what kind of came out with the game, as it does have mixed reviews right now. So you have items, and you can see there's like these different gem sockets in it. You can get different mods, get like health regen and other things in the game, basically more damage on some sort of condition or some sort of damage type. But for the most part, the itemization, it does exist. You do loot, you know, your enemies, and you will get items. It is very slow in its harvesting and stuff like that, so it's not a fast-paced game at all. I kind of went in expecting one thing, and I'll kind of mention why in a moment, but I want to give you guys just like rapid gameplay here, so you get to move around, and again, the game looks great. There's a world that actually apparently changes, because they have like this fog of war, and after a period of time it will change. But we're going to go ahead and kind of show you guys the very earlier stages of the game. So we can go ahead and talk to NPC. And again, most stuff is voice acted. Great voice acting. So if you guys are interested in the story and you like voice acting, this game does a pretty good job so far, I would say. But see, we can go ahead and open up this and we'll get some items off of it. We can go ahead and loot the gold, which is used to repair items, and durability is a thing in the game. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about that, but you can break the barrels and you can get items. You have to loot everything manually. It doesn't just auto vacuum up. So we're going to go ahead and destroy some of these things, and he's going to tell us to go grab these items for the meal. So it's kind of teaching you to actually craft stuff. So it's a very slow-paced game, which at first I was like, okay, it's the early game of an action RPG, and generally in action RPGs, you know, the very beginning of the game is relatively slow, right? Okay. So we can go now and go over here and find our cabin below. Go down. And it's cool that like they have like these layers. He's going to talk for a little bit, and then we can go ahead and rest, and then something will happen. And then we can actually show you the combat. But it's kind of just the introduction to the game here. I'm going to skip the little like sleeping scene here. And then we're going to wake up. We've been attacked. Go ahead and loot and get an item. So here's the first item that we get. We get a short sword. You can see the damage over there. And then it says that there's like a spin, and you'll see that there is a cost with the stamina. So one important thing with this game, you'll see when I swing, there is a stamina bar. This is very big. This is where I think a lot of people are kind of disconnected on what they expected, myself included though. So we have the charge attack, there's our charge attack, and this is our basic attack. And then you have to like roll. So if like the enemy would come at you, you can roll. You can also do a parry. So you can basically kind of counter their attack, so to speak. So that's kind of how this game plays. It's not just like you just button mash. You have to kind of time yourself. Very Soulsborne-esque. Now we got a shield. Now we can also equip the shield. There's two-handers, and I believe you can dual wield daggers. But here's what we can do with the shield now. We can now block, and you can see over on the bottom left, we have a heal on the top, and then we have the shield and then the weapon here. And there's different moves that you can do depending on your weapons. But if you just spam, you'll see I'm out. I can't attack. I have no stamina. this is where a lot of people will actually die and feel frustrated, because stamina is something that you have to invest points into, and that is where the combat would differ, definitely. And I want to go into that a little bit more later when we talk a little bit about other things that exist in the game. So you can actually jump, although it automatically jumps. It's not like a platformer game. It's not like Crash Bandicoot or anything like that. But we can also go across this, so we can go shimmy on the wall, so slide across the wall. But first off, in terms of do I like the game, it's not my style of a game. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I'm not a Soulsborne kind of guy. I like games like Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I like fast-paced games. I like to go zoom in my action RPG games and delete screens of content versus, okay, there's an enemy, I'm going to battle him. Now, that's subjective. Some people may like that, some people may not like that. And a lot of people kind of expected this game to be more in the PoE and Diablo genre, and that's, I think, where the confusion is. So, see this guy over here? Oh, he's now open. So you have to kind of wait. There's not a time that I'm aware of, at least from what I've seen, where you get a build and you're just like one-shotting everything. It's not that type of a game. And, you know, maybe that's not what you want, and that's totally cool. That is something that I think is just designed in the game, and that's the way that they want this game to actually exist in. Like, we have different things like this gives us more stamina, but that's like the basics of it. Now that we are over here, we'll get to like kind of like the next area, and we'll kind of show off a little bit more. But these enemies are tough. Like, if it's your first time, like, obviously I'm going to go a little bit faster and kind of speed things up. We can go pop a heal. You can see how that looks. So you can still be attacked, so don't try to heal. And also the game does not pause. So if I was like to manage my inventory or any of that, the game doesn't pause. Okay. So let me go ahead and talk about it, because I had a lot of people say, oh, this game is boring, I'm falling asleep, and other people are like, oh, wow, this is the greatest game. So why does the game have mixed reviews over here at the current state? Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, like the files, or not the file, but the price of the game, because I had a couple people ask, is this a free-to-play game? Is it a mobile game? As far as I'm aware of, it's PC as of right now, and it's still in early access, so they are looking for feedback. But big shout outs to Private Division for hooking me up with a early copy of the game. Well, technically, by the time this video is out, you guys have already seen it, and I also have live streamed it. But as far as the game goes, this is why people are a little bit confused. So this is someone that is, you know, quite close with the game. It's the CEO, creative director at Moon Game Studios, which is, of course, the people that developed the game, right? So he also worked on Ori and the Blind Forest. And there was a tweet over here that specifically said that our next project is going to make or break moment for Moon. Of course, the people that worked on the game. So either we manage to revolutionize the ARPG genre, or we'll slowly fade away into the distance. And then it says, while that should be scary, I love the challenge. Diablo, PoE, etc. We're coming for you. May the best one win. And I want to say that this game doesn't really fall in that same category of the players that enjoyed those games for specifically that genre. While I enjoy action RPGs, I also enjoy a lot of other games. But this game, it has the looks of an action RPG, but the gameplay and play style is something different. That's something very important. And even when I had the review copy in, like, they give you like kind of an NDA, you can't play the game till whatever, and they give you some like guidelines or some other things that they may want to talk about. They said just be honest with you. So I expected this game to be more in the, again, action RPG genre. You can see over here, this person said, calling this an ARPG got me to buy it. Finding out it is firmly Souls-like gameplay is why I am leaving, okay? This was on Aaron Action RPG's channel, and he's another fellow content creator. And this is like something that I feel very, very similar feels with some of the players that had kind of expected one thing and got another. So you can see that this person said that this is not an ARPG, it's a Souls-like. I don't know why they called out PoE to be the next competitor when the game is not in the same genre. And I think that that's why it currently has mixed reviews. If you're going to say something along the lines of like, Diablo, PoE, we're coming out for you. And that makes me excited. I want competition in the action RPG genre, but it does not play anywhere near that. While you could say, well, it's got like, you know, you got loot. Well, lots of games have loot, right? Is Destiny the same as Diablo? Well, obviously it's a first-person shooter, so it looks a lot different. But the game pace is, I think, what is kind of confusing for some people. Like I said, the cutscenes, excellent for this game. I'll play like a little bit over here and you guys can kind of see it. And then there's a little bit more of a battle, and then we'll get into like the kind of the open world where you get like an area to repair, and you can actually build like your own house, and you can get more storage space, which is another thing in the game. But as far as things that like I like with the game, like again, this is like first early impressions. Graphics, sound, and the like visuals of this game. They did a really great job. Like, this is like objectively good, right? While graphics could be subjective, I would say most people would say this game looks pretty cool, right? In terms of its visuals. Again, some of the features on the characters are exaggerated. It's not like 100% accurate proportions. But the gameplay of this, of like, okay, I gotta wait. And sometimes when there's multiple enemies, you have to go and take them one at a time. So you have to like do this loop thing where you're like, okay, I'm going to wait here and I'm just going to try to fight this guy. This is very slow combat, right? And if you like that, then this game might be for you. But if you're like an action RPG enjoyer, Last Epoch, Diablo, Path of Exile, Wolcen, Torchlight, this is not in the same, I would say, field. And that's where, again, I would say people are a little bit confused. Because for me, I don't like the slow-paced gameplay. And I think to give them some feedback, because, you know, they called out Diablo and PoE, perhaps they could make a mode that has no stamina, and it's a lot faster in its combat. I mean, I was watching another fellow Diablo partner's video on this game, and it was Rax, and he was saying that he's killed more enemies in PoE in like 20 minutes than the entire campaign of this game. So don't expect to like kill hundreds of enemies on screen just one-shotting things again like Diablo or Path of Exile. It's going to be something more slow-paced. But there is, you know, action RPG elements, and the boss battles are going to be what I would consider more engaging, because you have to learn the pattern. You're going to die if you've played, you know, any game where there's a learning curve of dying. Well, this game has it. Now, another huge point of criticism that I've seen in the game right now, because I was wondering the same things myself, there are a lot of tedious things in the game, like when you are harvesting, you have to sit there, you gotta pickaxe, or use your axe, or you have to sit there for a while. It doesn't just automatically harvest it really fast. So, well, I want to say that maybe that is to have some sort of immersion, like you're actually breaking down this tree. I want to say that it is redundant and unnecessary in the game. So if they could speed those sort of things up, I think that that would be a very nice thing to have in the game. And things are just too far away. This is something that Diablo 4, after people have complained again and again, where this vendor's over here. Basically, if you want to repair your stuff, you got to go all the way over here. If you want to access your storage, it's way over there. It's just too far, and it feels like you're wasting time. To make it better for the player, I think it'd be really nice to have some sort of ability to have a lot of these things just a lot more accessible in a faster manner, right? Because it's not like it's a skill issue to walk from point A to point B, unless, of course, there's some sort of like monsters that you have to constantly defeat. But you can see, yeah, some of these enemies, you gotta kind of time and wait, and you gotta parry, like I showed you guys before. But this is basically my first impressions of the game. I was going to get to the next area, but at this point we're like almost at 15 minutes. So we'll go ahead and kill this guy, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. So I'm curious to know, how do you guys feel about this game after just watching someone else play it, or even if you've just watched, you know, my little segment here. What do you guys think of this game? Is this a game you guys want me to upload more of? For me, I'm definitely going to be checking out the game and see what they do with some of the feedback that the game has gotten, because there's a lot of feedback, and they are updating the game. So as long as the developers are interested in, you know, some of the things that can objectively improve the game, like, again, the storage issues with the game, and like the speed at which you harvest. You can see we just rolled out of the way. So again, every enemy is a threat in this game, which, you know, some people do like, versus just like, you know, spamming a button until it dies, which is kind of how it works in some action RPGs. So you gotta roll out of the way. Okay, and then again, some things will have more moves. I didn't really get into the attribute points, but oh, there's another cutscene here. We're just gonna go skip the cutscene here because I just want to show you guys the attributes, as that's another form of like progression here, because you do level up and you get 3 attribute points per level. Again, the graphics and the sound, they did a great job over here, but we're gonna basically crash, and then, oh, we lost everything. Now we have to go basically scavenge around. We gotta punch some crabs. We actually lose our stuff, but it's part of the progression of the game. So one thing I didn't really get into is the attributes. So certain pieces of gear, just like in Diablo 2, it requires like strength, dex, whatever to equip the item. And you can see over here on the left side what they do. If I hit insight, it'll tell me exactly what they do, which is good. But a lot of these will say like strength increases the strength of a character. It says weapons that scale with strength receive a attribute bonus. So same thing with dex. It's literally just copy paste, but they swap the words strength and dex. So it does basically the same thing, but there are again pieces of gear that will require whatever that you need. And you can see it is an action RPG in the fact that you do level up and there's loot, but again, the gameplay placed out and pace of the game is not in the same realm of Diablo and Path of Exile. So just wanted to go ahead and make sure that that was clear, because that was something, again, that I expected to see with the game. And as far as feedback, I think one thing that a lot of people expected is the game to be like that when they called them out. So what I'm saying is that tweet that I showed earlier. So to give them constructive feedback, have a mode for maybe action RPG enjoyers, and then you can call it super fast-paced mode or whatever, and it can have no stamina. You can have way more HP. The stagger that you receive is significantly reduced, so it's a lot easier. I think this game has a learning curve of you must die 20, 30 times, and then you get to feel like, okay, I can understand the grasp of how this particular enemy is fought. But that's my early thoughts and impressions. I'd love to know your guys' down below, and what do you think of the game? But if you guys enjoyed it, if you want to see more action RPG goodness, and you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll definitely see more. But take care. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts down below.